Hey everyone, my name is Laura Wynn and I am a buyer's agent on the Acre Brothers real estate team. I've also done listings, and we actually just changed our team model to include listings. So that is what we're talking about today, is how to find seller leads, which are a great asset, especially right now in the way the market is right now. We definitely need more homes to sell. So hello, if you're joining right now, I'm just went ahead and just started. So my name is Laura and I'm with the Acre Brothers real estate team. I've been with Keller Williams for about 4 years now. So we are going to talk about seller leads today and how to get seller leads, especially in this market. We need all the homes we can to sell right now. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. Our agenda today is 2 different sides of your business. One is to grow your business, which is to get customers, get clients. When you generate leads, make seller presentations, make buyer presentations, when you go out to preview homes, all of those things grow your business. And then on the other side of your business, you have running it, which is actual listings that you have on the market. You need to actively be promoting them and marketing them. You need to be showing homes, negotiating contracts, working on the contract to close. Once you have a ratified contract, all the steps after that, talking to vendors, staying in touch with lenders and closing companies, also having a great network of plumbers, contractors, roofers, cleaning people. I'm asked all the time for, do you know someone who could do some landscaping for me, or do you know someone who's handy? So having all of those people in contact with you, setting your goals for your business and compliance, making sure that you're up to date with all the MLS new rules and regulations, and then attending training, coaching, and then managing your money, which we'll talk about at the end of the session. A little bit into commissions, how they work, how they're split, and how to manage them properly. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so today we're going to talk about finding seller leads. So sometimes you find a buyer and they have a house to sell. So then, and they not necessarily sell with you as well. So you do have to convert them to not only help, that you're helping buy, but that you want to help them sell their house as well. And I think a great script is just that it's easier. We're working together. We know the timeline. You can I can help you with selling. Hello, everyone that's joining. We just got started. So we are talking about how to get seller leads today, how to get listings. And with the market the way it is right now, we need a lot of listings. We have a lot of buyers, but there's not so many houses available. So, so finding a seller, I was saying, is you can, if someone's trying to buy a house, then you have the first question I typically ask is, do you have a house to sell? Or are you currently renting? So if they have a house to sell that they need to sell in order to buy, you need to have a conversation about what that's going to look like, when you're going to list their house, get a timeline together. Then there's people that are they just want to sell, cash out, and go rent or something, and they need help selling their house. So one of the first steps when you are trying to find seller leads is understand their motivation. Why are they selling? Why now? What's going on? And that's usually connected to what I found for me is that it's usually connected to their life, of what's going on. Are their kids leaving the home? Are they have a baby on the way? Do they need to downgrade, downsize, or get a bigger home? What's not working about their home now? That's another question I ask, is what's not working now that's making you think I've got to change? So understand their motivation will help with so many different questions about what they're looking for next, their time frame, how serious they are, if they're just looking for the right thing, or they have to find something because their job's transferring, or etc. So once you understand their motivation, you'll really be able to help them. Okay, and then I guess we are talking about, okay, the compliance do not call. I didn't know that slide was slipped in there. Okay, so, well, let's go back. Sorry, I didn't realize I was doing all of these. Okay, so after you understand their motivation, you want to qualify and convert the seller leads from just a lead to a client. After you pre-qualify them to find out if they are a seller, they need to sell their house, you've done the research on the house, and you can do a listing presentation with them. You tell them what you think their house is worth. Usually this is done at their house. You walk through their house with them. You can pull their listing if the house was previously listed, which typically has been. You can find out all the information, what the house sold for the last time when they bought it, and have all of those numbers with you. I think that's a very professional way to come across when you meet them, is to have done your homework, have the tax assessment with you, know what it's worth on the tax record, know if it's on a septic, know if it's in the city or the county, have all of that information together. We'll talk a little bit more about the listing presentation. Then we're going to talk about some recaps and then our daily successes. Okay, so now we'll go on to compliance is a do not call list of people. We have Keller Williams usually sends out an updated list, but make sure you have the list. And so if you're doing cold calling, make sure that you're not calling people on the do not call list. So update it regularly, check before you call, and honor their requests. And there's also federal laws against it. So, okay, so finding seller leads. So how to find someone who needs to sell their house. There are 4 things we'll talk about. One is in your database. So that's either in your phone or your computer or Facebook, just your social media, anywhere you have people's numbers. And you can either call them, cold call them, check in with them, ask them how their house is doing. Have they thought about selling? The market's really good. People are making a lot of money on their houses right now. Do you have equity built up? Those are some questions to ask. Your database, your sphere, your friends, family. Another is in your daily 10-4, which is you're adding 10 contacts to your database every day. So these can be people that you meet out in other jobs or in the community when you're, at the hair salon, or, your children's coaches and things like that. And you just, usually it comes up very naturally when you say, I'm a realtor, you start talking about the market. Those could be people that you add to your contacts and asking them, have they thought about selling? Open houses are a great way to meet people that are looking. Typically they're buyers that come, but they do have houses that need to sell. And that's a great way to set an appointment with someone. I always ask them, one of the first questions is, do you have a house to sell? Or are you currently renting? Because that determines so much about their timeline and their finances of which direction we're going with the buy and sell of their house. And then referrals. So people can refer you through Keller Williams or for friends and family. Hey, I know a realtor, they have a house to sell. The easiest way to make a sale is with a referral. So, of course, there's other ways to get leads. You can do cold calling, door knocking, marketing, send out postcards to different neighborhoods stating how much homes are selling for. You can, there's all different kinds of ways. People that are divorcing that need a house to sell, people that are have loved ones that are getting older, from retirement homes, senior homes that have a house they need to sell. There's all kinds of seller leads. So it's easy to find leads. It's harder to convert them to clients. That's my experience. I feel like you can find leads almost anywhere. It's just a matter of finding whether they are motivated and then converting them to client. And so that's what we'll talk about next. So qualifying them and converting them. So you need to connect with them so that you'll be their real estate agent of choice. Understand how ready they are so that you can categorize them to see how soon they're thinking of selling. And once you think someone is willing to sell, you need to pre-qualify them to see if they're able and ready to do business. So the 3 qualifiers are they able, are they ready, and are they willing? So they can be able to sell, and they could be willing to sell, but they're not ready to sell. They could be willing to sell and ready, but they're not able to at that time. So all of 3 of those have to line up in order to find someone who is a qualified, good seller. And if they are, then you need to set up a listing presentation or some time to meet with them to talk about how to sell their house. That can be as formal or informal as you'd prefer, and then secure the listing, get them to sign the paperwork to list their home with you. So each step is really important. So here are some connecting questions. So you have a lead. Let's say it's a call. Our team does a lot of cold calling. So a call, they're thinking about buying a house. Okay, great. Do you have a house you need to sell? Yes, we've been living here for the last 10 years. We need to sell it. Okay, great. So one of the first questions is, that I ask is, what's not working for you right now? Why are you looking to upgrade or downsize, or what does this home not have that you're looking for? And they usually say, oh, well, we want a basement, or it's just, we're getting a little crammed, or something like that. So then that leads into a lot of questions about their life and what's their job situation, how long have they lived there, are there kids, do they need to stay in the school district that they're in, what are you looking for in your next home? So all of these details too is great too. If you have a database and you have a notes section, I add every single detail they tell me, their dog's name, their kids' names, every little detail, and people will tell you all kinds of details. And so it's great to have that. So sometimes I won't remember the person's name, but when I read that they had kids in the Rustburg School District and they needed a bigger home, I'll all of a sudden be like, oh yes, I remember that person. So it's good for you. And then it's good for them when you call them back and you can say, bring up something that you were talking about before. Then you have to assess what they are looking for and what do they want to do. When is it going to be a contingent to sell? If it is, then you need to start showing them homes and finding out what they want to buy. Finding out where. These are all the basic questions: who, where, when, why, how. I think the most important question is, why are you moving? That will, like I said, branch off into a lot of different reasons and motivations. And then, and when are you looking? But why is more important, because people will say, oh, I'm looking next year. And then it ends up they're ready in a couple months. So sometimes they don't know exactly when. And then how do they plan on doing this? So that's where you can really show some expertise and say, okay, well, let's come up with a plan of how we're going to do this, because it's a pretty overwhelming thing, but we'll go through the timeline of how we're going to find you a home and sell your home. So those are some great questions when you're first meeting someone. Okay, so from all of those questions, when you're asking a seller lead, you're getting all this information and you're mentally putting them into one of these 3 categories. This is the Keller Williams way of determining. There's different models you can do, like red light, green light, yellow light, or cold, we do hot, cold, warm, things like that. But A, B, and C. So A is they are ready, they're able, they're willing, and they've got to go now. So they need to list immediately. Some people are a little nervous to list right now until they find something to buy. So you can talk them through, there's different scenarios where you can just put their house on the market. You can make it contingent for them. You know, I don't know if you've seen on the MLS where it says contingent on the seller's finding suitable housing. That's one way to do it. So you can list their house with that contingency that they're trying to find something. If they're very particular and they're looking for something really specific, you might want to start looking at the buy side. The trick of that is when you find the perfect house, but you have a contingency to sell your house, you may not get that offer. So you've got to get their house ready to list. In all situations, their house has got to be ready to list. So come up with a daily action plan of following up. They need a lot of follow-up if they're ready to go. And this also includes, like, you know, what's the condition of your house? Do you need to paint? Are there projects you're trying to do before you sell? You know, what are some things I can do to help you get ready to sell? B is they're able, ready, and willing, but they are a little ways out, 2 weeks to 2 months. So they want to sell maybe this winter or this fall. So then you still need to stay in touch with them. Maybe they have like a deck they want to put on the back, or they have some projects they're trying to do before they sell. Just keep in touch with them. Try to get some paperwork at least signed or some type of commitment, so you're not following up with them for a while and then they don't end up either selling or they sell with someone else. But definitely check in with them, put them on your calendar to check in with them every few days or once a week. And then C will be, they want to sell in the spring, or in, you know, they say, oh, next summer we're thinking about it. So that's obviously a longer term lead that you have to follow up with maybe once a month, check in, and just different ways. That's a great lead to just give a phone call, send a note card, then the next month, send a gift card the next month. Just kind of don't harass them, but they're cold leads. They need to be just nurtured. Good. Any questions or anything so far? So there's great CRM or Command to organize people and to put them into different categories. Okay, we're going to skip that, but you can determine, different leads and practice putting them in different categories, or determining where you think they're at. And usually it's sooner rather than later. I find that people will say the spring and they'll mean the winter, or they'll say, oh, in a few months, and they mean like in a couple weeks, but then I guess there are people that they just say, oh yeah, I'm ready to list it. And then they're like, oh, we'll put it off for 2 weeks, or we'll put it off again. We'll put it off again. So it's just a matter of staying in touch with what people are. But typically I would say if they say a year, I cut it by 6 months. I think, okay, they don't mean a year, they mean 6 months. And I treat them like they're selling in 6 months, so that I stay up with them more so than less. Okay, so once you have a lead, you got to ask for the appointment. So say, is there a time I can come by and see your house, so I can just get an idea of what, where your house is at, and get some more information. That's just a great kind of casual way to get your foot in the door. Ask for the referral. That's a different, you can ask, I don't really know what that means by that, but I guess ask if you get a referral from a friend or family member. And then ask, let's see, I'll probably look at my notes. Creating a reciprocal relationship is how to turn a lead into a contact. For a seller lead, that means asking how you can connect and meet with them. For a referral, this means asking how they can connect with you, with people they know that might meet with you. So, okay, so that's asking for a friend, a friend who knows someone who's selling their house, and you ask them to get your number to them, or they get their number to you. Okay, so ask for the appointment. Keller Williams teaches to give them two options, like does Friday work, or is it better on the weekend, rather than just saying what time do you have? It gives them a little bit more of a firm timeline so that you can set an appointment and go see their house. And that's a great way to, then you get to know their family, you get to know their lifestyle, you see the house for the condition that it's in, you can give them tips about things to fix or paint, or a lot of times I'm telling people, don't paint that. You don't worry about that. Don't do that. That's fine. Just leave it. And so you can also tell them, you can help save them money on projects that they thought they would probably need to do before selling that they don't need to, especially with the market right now with everything selling. Okay, so next we're on to pre-qualifying sellers. So we are understanding their motivation, feeling like you have a really good grasp on why they need to sell. You have positioned yourself as the expert. You're telling them the market is, going crazy right now. You can pull all the data from the MLS and go over like the days on market average right now for their price point, for their neighborhood. If it's like in the Fort Hill neighborhood, you can say, oh, this is such a great neighborhood for students and young families. So talk about the neighborhood, win the listing. So get the paperwork signed. Even if you don't have a date yet set, you can still sign the agreement with a tentative date of when you're going to list it. They allow you to price the home to sell. So typically I bring about 3 different numbers in my mind of if it's an amazing condition, if it's an average condition, or if they want to sell it really quickly and they want to price it a little bit lower than the market price. So have some different numbers in mind when you present to them. And if the house just blows you out of the water, it's so clean and neat, you could bump up to the higher number. Set seller expectations. That's a really huge thing we talk about on our team a lot. We actually talked about this morning in our group, is that so many times clients just don't know what to expect. And if they expect one thing and then something else happens, even like at the contract to close side, if you tell them, look, the closing date is a moving target, it might not be exactly on this date. If they know that going into it, it's so much better to deal with a late close than they've hung all of their everything on that one closing date and then thinking that it's a solid set date and then there's a delay and then their expectations are thrown out and they're upset. So setting their expectations early, we're going to list your house. Most of houses are selling right now, but no promises. The market, changes all the time. And then what they can expect from you. You'll hear from me once a week. I'll check in. I'm going to do an open house for you. This is what happens once we get offers, how we're going to negotiate them, just kind of laying it out for them. That will help them feel more relaxed, like they trust you and they're comfortable. And then it'll be a great experience for you and for them, because there won't be so many, I say no surprises as much as possible, no surprises. Okay, there is a pre-listing questionnaire in the toolkit in Command. So if you want to download that, that's some questions. It's like you could sit there and fill that in when they're talking to you, either on the phone or you can bring it. And then I think that's a great tool to keep yourself on track when there's a lot of, talking and bits and pieces. This will help you stay on track. Okay, we'll skip the role playing, but it is a great to practice. And my team, we're always practicing scripts and role plays all the time. So, okay. The listing presentation. So a lot of people do this differently. You can bring it on an iPad or a computer. You can bring it as a printed out copy. So if you go to Command, there's a design tab on the left side. And then if you go into design tab, you go into import a design and Then they have different templates and you can click on listing presentations. They have about 5. You can also just Google listing presentations. There's also different ones. You can download it and then edit it. It's just a template. Some of them are like 20 to 30 pages long, but you can insert your picture, your information. There's pages about the market and you can insert comparable homes to theirs. You can insert statistics about the area. It's a great thing to have. So depending on if you want to leave something with them in person or you want a PDF and email it to them, I think it's a great thing. You can put a page about you, your life, how long you've been doing real estate, how many houses you've sold. It's just I think it's a great, very professional, classy way to show people that you're a serious realtor. Okay, I'm gonna practice the listing presentation, but in the listing presentation, you'll want to go over the comparable homes that are on the market. You'll want to go over what the timeline looks like, what's the time frame, what happens if the house isn't selling, what are you going to do? Are you going to reduce it? How much are you going to reduce it by? It's better to talk about it up front. There's some statistics by the NAR that it's like if there's 12 showings and no contracts or offers, or if there's no showings in like, I can't remember how many days, maybe a week or something, then it's listed too high. It needs to be reduced. Or what's the problem? Are the pictures too dark? Is there too much stuff? What's the feedback you're getting from these showings? Why are people seeing it and not writing an offer? So there's different problems. Are you having a lot of showings but no offers? Or are you just having no showings? So those are great things to cover in the listing presentation. Another thing I have, which I got from Tina Fryer, is a net proceeds sheet. It basically states how much you're going to sell their house for, and then it deducts what they have to pay. So I go over what the buyer pays versus what the seller pays, so they know what costs they're looking up. Real estate fees are 6%. Seller pays all 6%. I always tell them that the 3% on my side covers their marketing, their photography, the signs, the open houses. They don't pay anything more than that. That's all covered. Then we go over, sellers pay for a termite well and septic inspection. I tell them average how much it is. What if they find termites? Typically, $500 to $800 to get the termites out. That's on the seller. I also prep them that a lot of buyers will ask for closing costs, so they need to be prepared to deduct that from their net proceeds. That, if a buyer might ask for $5,000 in closing, right now it's typically not happening, but I prepare them with that. And then we just go down the list till they get their bottom number, and then I can ask them how much is their mortgage, how much is left. We put it in there, and then I give them an idea. It's a general, but it's an idea of how much they're walking away at closing. So that's helpful also for managing expectations. And then we have a game plan so that they know, there's no like, oh yeah, you have to pay for a termite inspection, I forgot to tell you, and it's $55, and oh yeah, and there's a septic inspection, etc. So that I always have that as part of my listing presentation. The other thing I always bring with me is I print out in dotloop, there's a MLS input sheet. It's like 3 pages. It's every question that you're going to need to put into the MLS when you're there. So asking those questions up front will make you look very professional and put together, and then you can just do everything at once. So I start asking, okay, this house has vinyl siding and you have a fireplace upstairs. Do you have one downstairs? How big are, I get some measurements of the rooms. Sometimes this is all done on the first presentation. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I set an appointment to come back and go over all this, but having that input sheet, that's all the information you're going to need to put into the listing. So how old is the HVAC? When was the last time you had the septic pumped? Those are all great questions to find out about the house. So that I include as part of the listing. presentation, especially if they're really ready to list. You have to determine, I guess, if they're not ready to list right then it's probably, you don't need all of that, but that's another thing to bring. Or maybe you can leave them a copy and say, this is all the info I'm going to need to sell your house. So if you can start filling this out. So I'm trying to think of anything else I include. Any questions about the listing presentation? Keep going. Okay. Okay, so we won't do a recap. Okay, we'll just go on to daily success habits. I think that's something that's talked about, I think on almost every session, but we'll go back over it. So it's build your database, practice your scripts, do lead generation, and contract practice, which it says on here is optional, but I would definitely do practice going through the contract, going over it, know it. Every paragraph, people will ask you, what's in paragraph 12. And so if you know it right off the head, okay, that's the home inspection paragraph, and you can, and help answer their questions. So, yeah, those are the things I know on our team. We do it too. We have to build our database. We are always doing script practice once a week and lead generating. So this is the 10 for Keller Williams, if you haven't seen it yet. So these are the 4 things you do 10 times to get started in real estate. You add 10 contacts a day, have 10 conversations a day about real estate, write 10 handwritten notes, which really go a long way with all the email bombardment we have. To write a little handwritten note is a really nice gesture. And then to preview 10 homes a week, unless you're showing homes. But going out to homes, that was something I started doing at the very beginning, was getting to know neighborhoods and previewing homes, just to see, like, I wanted to see what if the pictures were accurate, and of a listing, and just kind of getting my bearings with different neighborhoods and what do different style homes look like. Okay, practicing scripts helps with lead generation. It helps, or having scripts helps with uncovering motivation, identifying objections, closing deals, speaking in terms that the customer understands, and building confidence in yourself. So just as the doctor learns anatomy before working with patients, agents need to learn scripts to prepare to have meaningful conversations with clients. A script in our group, it doesn't have to be a full page. It can sometimes be a couple lines, but it's a good couple lines that are a solid little script to say when someone says something to you like, oh, I'm just looking. Okay, then what do you say after that? Okay, oh, okay, great. Yeah, a lot of people are looking right now. What are you looking for? Or another could be, oh yeah, we have a lot of people that browse. Usually you look for about 6 months before you find a home. Why are you looking? Something like that. So those are like little scripts, but Keller Williams has a ton of scripts to practice. With scripts, you can control a conversation by using purposeful language that helps you get to the end point, a closed transaction. So it can help you weed out a better question or the best question to ask at that point in time to really get you to the closed deal, rather than asking a bunch of questions that are good questions, but they don't uncover and get to the point of why they're selling or when they're selling. It allows you to have rehearsed responses. It delivers a powerful message in a way that the consumer understands. So the more it's practiced, the more it comes across as you do this all the time and you're a professional and you've done this before, and it comes across as very trustworthy. It helps you gain confidence, and it helps the customer gain confidence in you. Any questions about scripts? We'll do the role play. Again, talking about the do not call list. Getting an updated registry about that. Okay, so we're not gonna do real play. And if you have any questions about updating contacts in Command, we can, I can send you information, or Shalaya can help you as well. But like I said, whenever I call or follow up with someone, I always have a notes open and add everything they're telling me. I'll even add, you know, just left a voicemail or a note to go back but anything they tell me, their kids are in college or they traveled to, or they're vacationing right now in Florida, then I'll just write, okay, they're on vacation in Florida, da, da, da. So that's a great way to, you know, follow up, send them a note card. How was your trip? Hope it was good. You know, welcome back. You will forget all this stuff at the end of the day, even. So, okay. So using Command and Connect to help organize all the contacts and where they're at in the timeline. So then there's creating a success list is a good activity, what you need to do, what you should do, what's a priority. Stephen is always saying that you could fill up your day with a bunch of things and you feel very productive, but they actually didn't lead to any real money making. So make sure that the tasks you're doing are not only good tasks, but that they're going towards the goal of making money in real estate. So that's the end of that presentation. Any questions on sellers before we transition? We are doing one other section after this. So
where would be some good places to like meet people? You know, like I've tried personally going just to like Best Buy and like talking to people, and it's like it's really difficult to like start a conversation, you know?
Yeah, especially kind of with, you mean like just strangers with just asking about real estate or things like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little tough. I would say, well, we talked about open houses because they're already, you know, that there's a connection to something with homes, even if they're just looking. We have people on our team that go to farmers markets and set up like a little booth with their business cards. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's different events and venues you can go to, like festivals, like that kind of stuff, to talk to people, passing out like little coupons or I don't know, gift cards, something like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I think it's gonna be tough then going to like, I mean, maybe like Home Depot might be better because like people are like working on their houses, but it might
That's
be a little
true.
tough to just like cold approach someone. So that reminds me of just like old fashioned like door knocking where you're, you know, going in different neighborhoods but people put little signs on the door, you know, that can say like, have you checked what the value of your house is lately? That might be a great way to get a foot in the door is, you know, do you know what your house is worth right now in the market? And I can do a free assessment for you. And
Okay.
anything else? All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing that and then go to the other one. Let's see. Oops. Okay. That one's it. Yeah. Okay, so this is the next section that we're going to be talking about. And it's the financials. So it's how to more on the running of your business side versus the lead gen and working with customers. It's the managing money and finances. So again, that was the chart from the beginning. So there's two sides of your business. There's growing your business, which is finding buyers and sellers, making the listing presentations, reviewing real estate, staying on what's the hot sheet, what's the newest listings of the day. Then on the other side of your business, you are running a business. So you, first of all, you have to help your people that you're already helping. You're marketing your listings, you're helping buyers see homes, you're finding homes for the buyers that you have, negotiating contracts, you're doing the contract to close, and you're getting to know vendors, you're setting your goals, you are doing your compliance and staying up to date with LAR and the MLS, different fines and things that they're changing, attending training, and then you're managing your money. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, so think back to the classes you took to become a licensed real estate agent. Do you remember learning how to handle your finances as an agent while studying for your license? I would say no, I did not learn any of that. So you basically just learned about real estate and the laws about real estate, but not managing your business. So there are MREA models, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent models. The book is basically written about how to manage your money as a realtor and how money works and building a future, best practices, and then daily success habits, and then we'll recap. So, okay, so the habits for a financially sound business. First is to set a profit goal that funds your big life and your big why. As I talk about in Keller Williams, it's like, why are you doing this? What's your big goal? What are the big goals for your life? A lot of times they involve family or charities or something of why you are working this hard. If you have those in your mind, it'll keep you moving. And pursue the activities that you need to achieve that. So when you're bogged down in the weeds of it all, that's keeps you going. So for me, it's my kids. I'm a single mom, or a divorced mom. So I know that they rely on me. And so that's part of what keeps me going is working hard for them and our family. So it gets you through those tough days, you know. Okay, so estimate and save for and pay your taxes on time. That's number 2, really important. We are just 1099 independent contractors, so you do pay your own taxes out of your commissions. They're not paid like a W-2. Use the proven models and systems and charts in the MREA. They have a bunch of spreadsheets and different things you can use to track your finances and the models. Be fiscally savvy by reviewing your financials monthly. It is a business that can go like this. So you can get a big sale and then you cannot have a sale for another month and a half or a month or 2, and then you have another sale. And so it's important to try to level that off. And that's probably one of the scariest things about real estate. It was very stressful at the beginning to start off, but once you get going and set your financials, then it gets a lot less up and down. Pay yourself a salary rather than just taking the commission check and counting that as just 100% spending money. You have to budget for different things and prepare now for a financially secure future. As realtors, there's no retirement, there's no 401k or anything like that. So there's different ways to prepare for your future. So money is good for the good it can do. So with profit, you have money to do good for your family and your community. When you set your goals, you can become keenly aware of how many transactions you need to close to reach your financial goals. This is the money you'll use to fund your big life and to do good in the world. And I'm always blown away by the realtors I hear of that donate so much money to different charities or help their communities or fund low-income housing or donate to food pantries. There are some amazing realtors out there that are using a lot of money to help people, and it's very inspiring. Okay, so are you financially sound or unsound? So on one side, we have a chart where, okay, you sold a house and you get a commission of $9,000. After all the splits are taken out from Keller Williams, you get a check direct deposited. So in this case, it'd be $5,760. The unsound way is to put that directly into your personal bank account and to transfer that right basically into your wallet, or in your mind, you're spending that money. You have $5,000 to spend. That's not the way that it should work. I don't know how it's going to work that way. If you do that for a while, that's not going to work. You have to have business savings and you have to save some money for tax. So on the other side, move my thing out of the way. Okay, on the other side, you have your commission check. They take out your splits. You get your check for $5,700. You put it right into a business account. You take some of that money and you put it into your, I don't know, business checking that goes towards funding your business. And then you put money into your savings account. Either you're setting it aside for state or, state and federal. And then you are putting some money into your personal bank account. And then it comes out to $2,400 in this model of how much the realtor has after they've paid all their expenses that they actually have as profit or money that they can use to live on. So it's very important to set aside about 25 to 30% for taxes from each check, and then the money that you needed to get that sale, or if you paid a photographer, you had to buy signs, all of those expenses will go over them. Okay. So the financially sound business model is you have a transaction, you get a $9,000 check after the splits. Again, you get a check for $5,700. As much as it hurts, you got it. All you have is $2,400 for spending money. Okay, so that's the model. This is the MRE economic model. So I think they have a few different models, but this is what the MRE Keller Williams model looks like. So you get a gross commission of 100% of your commission that comes in from the sale of the house. That's the gross. Then you take out the cost of sales, which is the Keller Williams split of 30%. And it can be higher. It's 36% because there's a 6% royalty cap. And then your operating expenses of your business, that's your business cards, your computer, your car, your gas. And then you have your net income after that. So translated 10,000, 3,000 towards Keller Williams, 3,000 towards your business expenses, and then 4,000 is profit. Now they don't have the taxes taken out of there. So the way that Keller Williams does it is you have your income that comes in, so your gross, your expenses that goes out, and then what's left, your net profit. So then they go backwards and they take the net profit of how much you want to make, how much do you want to walk away from, and then you add in your expenses, and then you add in your income, So you multiply it out so that you know if you want to walk away with $100,000 this year, then you divide, and then you have your big number of how much has to come in on the gross side in order to hit that goal. So that's the MRE model that they teach. I think it's a great idea. So income from your real estate business comes from 4 different ways, but a lot of people don't do leasing. So listings, sales, and then you can get some referrals. And those can all be tracked. Cost of sales is the cost related to your transaction. They're the commissions paid to your office, their royalty fees, any kind of split or admin fee that you're paying to employees or contractors, or referral fees that you have to pay out. So you take that right off the top. Okay, so this is a little complicated looking, but it's very basic that you would have, and it doesn't fill in, but you have your gross commission check minus 30% for Keller Williams. They also have a 6% royalty, and then you get your net commission. So if your gross commission comes in at 10,000 minus 3,000 towards your cap, minus another $600, and then that's your net commission. Once you cap, first you cap on the 30%, then you're only minusing the 6%. So you can get rid of the 30% once you've capped, and you're only taking out the 6%. Once you've capped on your 6%, you get to keep 100% of your gross commission. Okay. I'm gonna skip the plan for your future activity. But if you do take time to play around with this chart, you can find out, fill it in of what you want to walk away and make this year. And then you can divide it by 60%, divide it by 40%. And then you take that big number. So I think if it's around like 100,000 you want to walk away with, you get up to a number that's around 400 and something thousand. Then you take the 400,000 number and you divide it by what an average commission in Lynchburg is. And so it's about 5,000 to 7,000. So if you want to take 6,000 and then you divide that, then that's how many homes you need to sell in that year to get that 100,000 in your pocket. So you can play around with different price points of homes, or how many you need to sell in order to get that number. So that's I love numbers like this where you can kind of look at something to grasp and anticipate for. So okay, so here's the little chart. So 100,000 profit goal divided by 60 is 166,000. I have 40%. So you're up to 416,000 of gross income coming in, divided by the average commission in this area. So you need to sell 56 homes. So your royalty plus cost of sales, they've said, is 23,000. And your operating expenses budget, which can vary. But they're saying about 30% for operating. I think that's a little high for a single agent. I don't think there's that much, unless you have like an admin. You're not going to be spending that much to do real estate. Okay, so the best practices are to gain clarity on your big life hopes and dreams. Why are you in real estate? What What are you trying to achieve with it? And then do your business budgets, set up your business entity. If you have to set up a business account with your bank, your LLCs, if you want one, open additional bank accounts for taxes, other savings. A business checking is a great idea too, because then you can buy your closing costs, buy your signs, pay your dues out of your business checking. Download the charts, use any tax accounting software you need, hire an accountant or a CPA, and then set dates to calculate and pay your estimated taxes, and then prepare for the future. You need, insurance, savings, and then if a lot of realtors invest in investment properties. That's their future retirement, is to have rental properties. So that's a great way. And then back to the same thing, the daily success habits of 10 contacts added, 10 conversations a day on real estate, 10 handwritten notes, and previewing 10 homes per week. That's the building blocks for the whole system to really get into real estate. So practicing scripts and lead generate, keep updating your contacts, and all of these practices that we can't do on Zoom. Okay, and then your success list again, getting things done. And that's it. I think we're done pretty early, so an hour early, but any other questions or anything? All right, thank you. Thanks, Shalaya. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Riley.